and welcome to the Newcastle County Chamber's annual dinner. Please make your way to the seats so we can go ahead and get started with the evening and dinner. What's probably of most importance is that the bar is going to be closed right now, but will reopen shortly. Welcome to the Newcastle County Chamber's annual dinner. Everyone's making their way to their seats. Thank you for that. Good evening. My name is Mark Kleinschmidt. I am the president of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, and I am pleased that all of you have decided to spend your first day of spring here with us at the Chase Center on the Riverfront. On behalf of the Board of Directors and our 1,200 members and the staff of the Chamber, I'd like to welcome you here to our dinner where we'll be celebrating our 95th anniversary. This evening, the way the format is going to go, I just want to give you a little overview of how it's going to work. First, we're going to have dinner. We're going to have a quick chamber update. Then we're going to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to General Vavala. And then we're going to have something a little bit different. We're going to have a fireside chat, an opportunity for the business community to get to know the new president of the University of Delaware, Dennis Asanis. Dr. Asanis will be interviewed by Kathy Rossi from Mid-Atlantic AAA. So in an effort to get the evening started, if I could have your attention, what we're going to do is we're going to honor our country with a posting of the colors. So at this time, I'd like to ask members of the National Guard, Joint Color Guard, to move forward and present our flags. Could you all please stand?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
can be seated. Thank you. Thank you, airmen and soldiers, for this evening and also for your service to our country and state. The national anthem was sung by Sergeant John Greeton from the Delaware Air Guard. We thank you for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Now we're going to head a couple of brief comments before we jump into dinner. Just a little bit of background here. The roots of the Newcastle County Chamber can be traced back to 1922, when a group of businessmen from Main Street and some local residents got together to talk about some pretty basic things: how to attract more business to Main Street and how to promote public safety. One of the organizers of that meeting was a gentleman by the name of Walter Holohan. His day job was president of the University of Delaware. The end result of that meeting was the establishment of the Newark Chamber of Commerce. When President Holohan was asked what he thought about the evening and the new organization, he said, "Well, I believe it's going to be an agency that mobilizes the energy, the intelligence, and the resources of the people of Newark for a more prosperous and more beautiful community." Well, that certainly was a great vision and a great start for this chamber. And over the years, this chamber has changed and expanded. We grew from Main Street on the way down Kirkwood Highway to Price's Corners, and in 1967 changed the name to become the Greater Newark Chamber of Commerce. And by the early 80s, the membership had continued to grow, and the name of the chamber took another change and became the Newark, or the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, and then it moved to Churchman's Road, where it had its headquarters for about 17 years. And then in 2007, the chamber had another opportunity to relocate, and we wound up over at Penn's Way in Corporate Commons. And with this move, the chamber expanded its activities to include economic development, and at that time, we started our business incubator program known as the Emerging Enterprise Center. Well, today, I'm happy and proud to announce that the chamber once again will be taking another step forward to better serve its members and promote economic growth here in Delaware. On June 1st, the Chamber of Commerce will be relocating its operations to the Shipyard Center right next door on the Wilmington Riverfront. So over the past year, when we searched for a new location, we were looking for a number of things that we had to have. We believe that the Chamber has become a very important business and entrepreneurial hub in our community. But our goal in a new location, what we needed to have was easy access for our members to get to it. We needed a lot of free parking because we get a lot of visitors. And we needed an appealing workspace for our staff, who does a heck of a job all throughout the year. And we also would like to have an attractive and exciting venue. Well, we believe the new space meets all those goals and more. The new space is literally right across the way in Drevo Plaza underneath the big cranes. And it's going to be broken up into 3 special areas that are going to be highly related. First of all, we're going to have the chamber offices there. And secondly, we're going to have space for our Emerging Enterprise Center, which is our small business incubator program. And the final space is going to be shared, and it's going to feature a conference center, meeting rooms, event space, and an open area for collaborative work. The collaborative space will serve as a very attractive and comfortable clubhouse where we think a lot of our members will come and gather to do business, to network, to enhance their growth opportunities, as well as our participants in the Emerging Enterprise Center. The new location is also meant to send a strong message about this chamber's commitment to the development of the city of Wilmington. It'll not only enhance our ability to serve 250 members, that's how many members we have currently in the city. About 250 of our 1,200 members reside here in Wilmington. At the same time, it'll be a great attractive location for our members to come for our various programs. So I think the vision of the founders of the chamber and Dr. Holohan have played off great dividends over the years. So we're very excited to keep the vision going here at our new home on the riverfront. Now I'd like to ask a couple of our elected officials to come up for some remarks. And just by way, again, a perspective, since this is our 95th year, we're going to reach back a little bit. In 1922, the chamber may have just been getting started, and Wilmington had a population of 110,000 at that time. Who knows who the mayor was in 1922? I looked it up. It was Leroy Harvey. And the mayor at that time had the opportunity or the good fortune to preside over our economy during the roaring 20s. And so that is a time, I think, what really launched Wilmington to become the economic engine of the state. Since 1922, certainly a lot has changed. No one could have imagined the problems and the challenges that we have to face today, but also lots of great excitement here in Wilmington as we move forward. With Wilmington as the economic engine, it may have lost some of its power and steam, but it's important that it regains its economic vitality, and so the Chamber is really pleased to be part of that and help make that happen. So it's my pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Wilmington, or perhaps the chief engineer. That would be Michael Przicki.
Thank you, Mark. Finally, took you guys 95 years to get it right. What was the inspiration behind mentioning the old guy back in 1922? The only guy to make me feel young, right, was a guy from whatever his name was. Listen, I always say everybody should be mayor for an hour. John would probably say, how about being governor for an hour? You know, it's a pretty extraordinary experience. It's funny because my friends come up to me and they go, "Are you okay?" And it's the way you talk to someone with stage 4 something. You know, it's they're worried like, "Are you okay? You're gonna be?" I said, "No, I'm fine. This is fun. Really, we're having a great time." And but you know, you have your challenges from time to time and day to day. And I will tell you something that will uplift you is to have the stamp of approval and from really just a great organization like the Chamber to say, we believe in the future of the city and we're coming down here. Now let me tell you, so I have 2 feelings about this. As the mayor, really exciting, and as the former director of the Riverfront Development Corporation, which remembers every single brick that we put on this building where you're going to be occupied. And when I come in this building, I can't tell you the nostalgia of remembering every story that went on in building this wonderful place. So, we have, I forget how you said it, Mark, you want to tell me again? But he kind of said like things have slowed down a little bit, but we have our mojo back. It's going to start working. It's really going to start kicking it. And I always say, look, down here at the Riverfront, I remember when we used to have to take a picture of the Riverwalk, we had to use time-lapse photography to get 8 people in a picture. We could never get it, and so what's the secret? As soon as people started living down here, everything changed. And the people who live here have their friends come down and they all go out together, and before you know it, we have more restaurants and more things, and now it's hard, you can't find 10 square feet without 8 people on it. And that's what's going to happen downtown. We have so much going on in this city that's really powerful. I think I have two chores. We have to work on our government. And you saw my address the other day. Many of you paid attention to it. I appreciate that. Tough decisions, they're not easy. But I have every confidence in the world, every confidence that we're going to get that right. The next thing is we have to go into our neighborhoods, and we've got to fix things that have been troubled for a long time. And it's going to take everybody with a big heart and having a generous view of the world and reaching out to people who have been alienated for a long time, reaching out to them and extend to them the possibilities of the franchise. And that's what our mission is going to be. So I'm a believer, I'm a tremendous optimist about our future, and Mark, I can't thank you enough for this very kind gesture. One of the really cool things you get to do as mayor is you make proclamations. It's great, Hey, the mayor proclaimed, so you get to say really great stuff, and you put it on a piece of paper, and you've got a little seal with a little red thing at the bottom. It's great. I still haven't gotten used to it yet. I haven't gotten used to being called mayor. Whenever someone says mayor, I turn around looking for Jim Baker. I mean, it's just not used to it yet. So here I've got a proclamation, and there are a lot of whereases, and most of our whereases are frankly just a repeat of what Mark just said, so I won't do that. But the last one, after extolling the virtues of the Chamber, all well-deserved, extraordinary effort by the Chamber. I will tell you, you used to be, as you know, not only the junior varsity, you were really, right? And today you've got an extraordinary organization. You're to be commended. But the last whereas says the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce has announced their plan to relocate its headquarters into the city of Wilmington, and that be it hereby known to all that Michael S. Przicki, Mayor of the city of Wilmington, proclaims Monday, March 20th, 2017, Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce Day here in Wilmington. And further congratulates the organization on its legacy of fostering economic development, encourages Wilmingtonians and local businesses of all kinds to support its programs and initiatives. This commemorates the Chamber's decision to move to Wilmington, an announcement made at its annual dinner on this date, and witness whereof. Very proudly signed, Michael Przicki, Mayor. God bless all of you. It's so great to see old friends. And Mark, thanks again.
Thank you, Mayor Przicki. I just think it's outstanding that we trumped the first day of spring with Chamber Day. We are really delighted to be here. So many opportunities and possibilities, and the sheer excitement when I talk to members and staff about coming here. They're like, really, the Riverfront, Wilmington? I think we can do this. So anyway, not to keep you from dinner, we want some more brief remarks from our county executive. And again, just real quick, looking at history, 1922, let's go back. Who was the county executive then? Nobody. Because that form of government didn't exist. At that point in time, we had something called levy court, and there was only 36,000 people living out in suburban Newcastle County. So it wasn't until the late 60s that we moved to the county, the council executive form of government. And last November, we elected our 8th county executive, and that was Matt Meyer. Matt, as he likes to call himself sometimes, is the new guy, but he also brings with him a wide range of experience, a whole bunch of energy to the position of county executive, and we're very pleased to partner with him with our Economic Development Council and support his efforts to expand economic development, create jobs, and make Newcastle County a great place to live and work. So let me ask County Executive Matt Meyer to come up and bring some greetings.
Thank you, Mark. It's good to be here, Mr. Governor, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Mayor. It's really an honor to be here tonight. I'm wondering how long I'm going to be called the new guy for. You know, it's really tremendous, the work that the county chamber does for all of us here. And I think not enough of us realize it and recognize it. I realize to a certain extent I'm preaching to the choir. To those in this room. But I often, these days, am bringing a graph with me that shows the national GDP versus the state GDP. And what it effectively shows is while our joblessness rate, while our unemployment rate is on par or slightly below the national average, the wages that our workers are making have slipped over the past decade or two. Organizations like the county chamber are doing tremendous work, not just in making sure we create jobs here, but like I like to say, the right kind of jobs, producer jobs. Raise your hand if you have a mobile phone. These things. Just about everyone I know is a consumer of technology. What the governor, the mayor, and myself need to work on is how do we make this county, this city, and this state a producer county so that we're producing technology more than we're consuming technology. I recognize a lot of the people in this room are the leaders in that fight, in that struggle, and certainly the Newcastle County Chamber has been a leader for decades and decades, long before there was a Newcastle County government. So I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I'm very excited to hear tonight from Dennis Asanis. You know, shortly after I was elected, President Asanis went to Newcastle University in the UK. I lived in Kenya after college, and shortly after I was elected, I got a text from a friend of mine in Kenya who said, you know, my daughter my daughter got into Newcastle University, and she's looking for a scholarship. Can you, you're the county executive now, can you hook me up? So, we don't quite have a Newcastle University here yet, but maybe that's something we can work on. So thank you very much, Mark, and look forward to hearing from the president. Thanks.
All right, we're almost there for dinner. So first, what I'd like to do is have a blessing. So I'd like to ask Rabbi Beals from the congregation Beth Shalom to come to the podium. I'd also like to thank the rabbi for his efforts to make our community a place of unity and not hate. The chamber stands with you in all your efforts as we work together to make our place great. Thank you, Rabbi.
Governor, neighbor, Matt, congregant, yeah, okay, Bob, kind of congregant, yeah. So 1922, what else happened? Congregation Beth Shalom, my synagogue, came into existence. So when we come to the 100th anniversary of the chamber, bring me back, I'll do a blessing again. All right. I'm worried about what type of slides they're going to show. I've been watching for the county, for the guy. I'm afraid they're going to show pictures from Fiddler on the Roof, or I don't know what they have for slides for rabbis. We'll see. I'm not going to look back there, but you tell me. I'm so worried. I just dancing chassids. I don't know. Chicken soup, matzah balls floating. I have no idea. All right. You'll let me know. I'm not going to look. All right. Please repeat these 10 Hebrew words after me. Hine. Behold. Ma tov. How good. U'ma-naim. How pleasant it is. Shevet. To dwell. Achim. As brothers and sisters. Gam yachad. Also together. These are the words that adorn the entrance to the Siegel Jewish Community Center, the JCC, and I was drawn to these scriptural words, the first verse of Psalm 133, to invoke the presence of a higher power to bring blessings on you gathered here this evening from business, commerce, education, and policymaking. I bring you together with the words etched into the concrete of the Siegel JCC because it has now been threatened with bombs a total of 5 times in the last 3 months, threatening the vulnerable, including infants, toddlers, and our senior citizens, part of a nationwide pattern of 165 bomb threats received by Jewish organizations in the past 3 months, according to the Anti-Defamation League. Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce Executive Vice President Bob Chadwick told me when he graciously invited me to speak to you tonight that I am the first rabbi in recent memory to be invited to deliver the invocation for the Chamber's annual dinner. I cannot think of a more important time to break old habits, to reach out to those different than ourselves, and to create new bridges of understanding to create new relationships. Our future is in the hand of our children. Everything we are building in our businesses, houses of worship, centers of education, our government policies, all are built with an eye to the future, our children. And with a report out just today that childhood and adolescent anxiety disorders are up by 30%. 30%. We know it cannot be business as usual. Anxiety disorders do not allow our children and teens to function normally. They get stomach aches. They stay home. They opt out. Events like yesterday afternoon's Unity Rally at the Siegel JCC, which included many of you gathered here this evening, uniting Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs, Blacks, Latinos, the LGBTQ community, along with elected officials, the United Way, and religious leaders. These events These events must now become the norm to balance out and redress the hatred in our society. One JCC preschooler who had recently been evacuated from the early education center after a 5th bomb threat said with amazement, Mommy, did all these people come out just for me? And her mommy answered, yes, honey, just for you. Dear Heavenly Parent, early in the book of Genesis, you taught us that we are made all B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of your divine image. Please inspire us in our businesses, in our houses of worship, in our centers of education, in our legislative halls, that we must break down the comfortable, business-as-usual silos which divide us. As we gather for tonight's Chamber of Commerce annual dinner, inspire us to create new relations with people very different than ourselves, knowing in making new friends and forging new alliances, we are coming to better know you, our Creator, whose face can be seen in the face of the stranger, and it's good for business. As we create new opportunities to come together in love and support, let us do what we can to reduce the anxiety our children encounter in divisive, hateful messages. Above all, tonight, help us to move from sympathy to radical empathy as we create a potent blend of love and justice to transform our world. I ask all of these things and more in your exalted name, and let us all say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Beals, for those inspiring and thoughtful words. Now it's time to eat. During dinner, there'll be some, hopefully some interesting slides some of you may enjoy in the center screen. So enjoy dinner. We'll be back with the program in a bit. Good evening. I hope everyone is enjoying the dinner. A little bit of surf and turf. Thanks to the good folks here at the Chase Center for doing such a great job in taking care of us. Particularly a shout out to Dee Becker, who we work with to put on tonight. Let's a round of applause for the Chase Center and Dee. We had a few folks who could not make it this evening with us. They are busy working on our behalf in Washington. So since they couldn't be here, they wanted to, they sent some video greetings. So we'll just take a minute. We're going to have a couple of presentations from our congressional delegation. So when we're ready, we'll roll the tape. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I want to welcome you to the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce dinner. Although I can't be with you physically tonight, I am thrilled and humbled to have the opportunity to address you as your Congresswoman for the very first time. While I was serving as Secretary of Labor, I saw firsthand the important role the Chamber plays in assisting local, state, and federal elected officials in creating an environment that is welcoming for businesses to grow. We live in a competitive and ever-evolving global economy, and it's critical to our future success that we continue working together to ensure that our businesses and communities that they call home thrive. And I'd like to take this time to thank and congratulate your president, Mark Kleinschmidt, for his dedication to this chamber and our business community. I also want to recognize my friend, my good friend, Major General Vavala. Anyone who knows General Vavala knows his tireless work ethic, his exemplary leadership, and his incredible humility. General Vavala has served this state and our country well, and his commitment to public service is unparalleled. Congratulations on your retirement, my good friend, and thank you for being the kind of general our Guards men and women look up to, and the kind of public servant and leader we all look to emulate. I can't think of anyone more deserving than you for this Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to being with you all very soon, next time in person.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Tom Carper, and sorry I can't be with you, at least right now. I hope with any luck that Chris Coons and Lisa Blunt Rochester and I are going to be able to jump on a train and join you before the evening is over. Many of you have heard me say this before, I'll say it again, but elected officials like us, we don't create jobs. We help create a nurturing environment for jobs, working with the chambers of commerce, working with businesses and other levels of government. And that is what your congressional delegation tries to do every day for Delawareans in Washington, D.C., help create that nurturing environment. Our country may be going through a divisive time right now, but with new administration and Congress trying to find its bearings, but Chris Coons, Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I are united in our work to listen to our business community and say, what do you need? How can we help? What can we do to be of service? And we'll continue to bring the 3 C's, communicate, compromise, collaborate, actions that help us get things done in Delaware and hopefully to our jobs in Washington. We'll convert some of our colleagues. But thank you and hope to see you all a little bit later in the program. Please save a seat for me and something to eat. All right? God bless. See you in a little bit, I hope. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good evening. I'm U.S. Senator Chris Coons, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2017 Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner. I've always enjoyed joining county chamber events, including the always popular Policymakers, Movers and Shakers breakfast, and I wish I could be there with you in person this evening. Thank you to President Mark Kleinschmidt for your leadership of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Your organization's work of helping members to connect, save, and grow since 1922 shows no signs of slowing down. Mark, your passion for fighting for the businesses of Newcastle County is a wonderful and valuable resource for our whole community. I know all of us are also looking forward to tonight's keynote address by President Dennis DeSantis of the University of Delaware. Under his leadership, I'm confident the university will continue growing as a significant engine of economic growth in our county and our state. Lastly, my congratulations to this year's Chamber's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, General Frank Vavala. It's been my pleasure and honor to get to know you over many years, and I'm happy to call you a friend. Thank you, General Vavala, for your 50 years of dedicated service to the Delaware National Guard and your 18 outstanding years of service as Adjutant General to the Delaware National Guard. Thank you. And again, have a terrific evening.
Well, let's have one more round of applause for our congressional delegation. One thing is for sure, a lot of uncertainty coming out of Washington these days, but one thing that is certain is that we are incredibly well represented by our 2 senators and our congresswoman. So we are very, very fortunate as things change that we are going to be okay as a state and a nation. So anyway, let us get going here with the rest of the program. At this point, I want to make a couple of acknowledgments. Events like this just don't happen. A lot of the Chamber programs just don't happen. We at the Chamber have instituted a special program called the President's Circle. And I think during the dinner hour, you saw a lot of the logos of the members of the President's Circle scrolling on the screen. The program, the idea is to get companies to make a little bit larger commitment to the Chamber throughout the year, and these companies have done that. We have 17 of them, and if anyone else would be interested in joining the President's Circle, we would love to talk with you about it. But let me recognize those members of the President's Circle. We have AAA, Mid-Atlantic, AT&T, Aloysius Butler and Clark, Bolden Brothers, the Allen Insurance Group, Chemours, Comcast, Wilmington University, the Delaware City Refining Company, Delmarva Power, DuPont, Fitzgerald Consulting, IFS Insurance, M&T Bank, the News Journal Media Company, TD Bank, and the University of Delaware College of Health Science. Let's hear it for our President's Circle members. We appreciate that commitment throughout the year for the Chamber. Tonight we have some special event sponsors who help make tonight special. If anyone's noticed the tablecloths and napkins, what are those colors? Blue and gold. How about it? So anyway, the event sponsors for tonight are Deladon Associates, CEO Think Tank. Chris Burkhardt is here. It's a program we run at the Chamber. We'd like you to, if you're interested in it, check in with Chris. We also have McConnell Johnson Real Estate as a sponsor tonight, W.L. Gore, and the Whiting Turner Company. So round of applause for our event sponsors this evening. Every year when we do this dinner, we tinker with it to do the format a little different. This year we decided to have the reception in the same room, and I think it worked out pretty well. And that was able to happen because of our reception sponsors, Applied Bank, Bryn Mawr Trust, the Bird Group, and WSFS Bank. So thank you all for that sponsorship of our reception. And we had some contributing sponsors that make things happen. Aztec Printing helped us out with printing the program. The Chase Center tonight has done a great job for us. Creative Images doing the photography, and Showworks who work with us to put together this really awesome audio or this video programming up here. So thanks to all our sponsors. Also want to recognize a special group that's in attendance with us tonight, and I think it's fitting. They're back in the corner here. Maybe if you guys could stand from the UD Horn program. Here we have the future, young business people, entrepreneurs, engineers. I also see a whole bunch of new Chamber members, so we're real happy about that too. So also, thank you for being here this evening. I want to acknowledge our elected officials. You saw some of the names scrolling across the board tonight. But here in Newcastle County in the state of Delaware, we're very fortunate to have a very collaborative working relationship with our leaders, and that's what makes us be able to be quicker and get things done. So on behalf of the board, I thank you for coming tonight, and I'd like to ask all our elected leaders to stand and be recognized, please. And we appreciate your willingness to work with us and listen to our ideas and our positions as we move along. Now what I'd like to do as we move closer to the presentation of the award is ask our chairperson to come up and make some remarks. This year, we're very fortunate to have as the chairman of our board, Tim Bolden. So I'm going to ask Tim to come up and make some comments for us. Tim?
Good evening. On behalf of my fellow board members and the staff of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank you for being here this evening. This year marks our 95th anniversary, and I'm excited because it's my first annual dinner as the chairman of the board. I'd like to start by recognizing the board of directors. I would appreciate if the other board members would stand, please. I know they're out there. It's a great board, and I want to thank you for your time and talents on behalf of the business community in Newcastle County. As we've heard, the organization actually started as the Newark Chamber of Commerce in 1922. And since that time, it's been the Chamber's goal to provide business development opportunities to our members and advocate for a stable economic environment. My grandfather, Uri, and his brother, Omar, only names like that for the 1940s, right? Started the business in 1946. And we're excited to be celebrating our 70th year serving the community. Thank you. It's funny when you talk to business people, when you make it to your 70th year and you're starting to go into your third generation, it's amazing how few businesses actually make it there. And people in this room can understand what it means to be a part of a family business. So it's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be a part of the chamber. So I was talking to my dad, and I asked him when he thought we became members of the Newark Chamber of Commerce. Unfortunately, records that old are hard to find. He knows that we were a member in the 60s, but it's likely that the membership in the chamber started way before that. I'm sure the original organizers will be quite proud to think in 1922 what they were building if they could stand up here where I am and see this impressive group of people assembled tonight to celebrate our 95th anniversary, helping businesses to connect, save, and grow. We're very excited about the Chamber's new facility. It's great that we're in the city. It's a beautiful spot, and when you have a chance to see it, I'm sure you'll all agree. The Newcastle County Chamber has been a leader in creating partnerships, a legislative advocate for the businesses, and supporting a wide range of economic development activities. This new location will make it easier for those functions to benefit more businesses. Starting in 1922, bringing a group of concerned business owners and citizens together to improve the community, it's really what the Chamber continues to do. And it started as an idea of a partnership, and it continues in that vein because the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce has our Economic Development Council, which is a partnership with Newcastle County. We have an education partnership with the 6 school superintendents, and we have the Joint Military Affairs Committee. It's a partnership with the State Chamber and the Delaware National Guard. I had a chance to attend our breakfast a few weeks ago, and it was my first time in the facility. If you haven't been to the National Guard facility, it's something that you should put on your list. The Chamber represents member businesses interested in all levels of government. We work to minimize legislative and regulatory burdens on member companies while fostering a sound economic environment in our county and state. We take care of politics so our members can take care of their business. Quite often, we're at the forefront of key business issues and will work with elected officials on important public policies and legislation. The Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce has been and will continue to be an aggressive advocate for business. Over the last 10 years, the Chamber has increased its support for economic development through our efforts of the Economic Development Council. The Council is a partnership with the Chamber, Newcastle County government, and 31 private sector companies. The mission of the Council is to foster responsible economic development and sustainable business growth. The Economic Development Council manages several programs and initiatives, including the Emerging Enterprise Center, the Greater Newark Network, and the Wilmington Business Leaders Network. Chamber President Mark Kinesmith has served on the Economic Development Committee for Mayor Przicki's transition team, and he's currently working with the Governor's Working Group to restructure the Delaware Economic Development Office. So with all that said, giving you a little bit of history of the Chamber and what we're working on, the Chamber looks forward to creating new partnerships, advocating for business-friendly legislation, and promoting economic growth for the next 95 years. So with that, once again, I'd like to thank you for being here this evening and for being part of a rich history of the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for those remarks, and thank you for your leadership in keeping the board moving forward and helping us kind of coordinate our relocation. Tim talked about some of the key areas that were involved in legislative advocacy and economic development. There are some other things that we focus on to help businesses. Every business needs its next customer, so we have a very robust networking program. Last year we had 75 different networking events that bring people together to find their next customer, but also learn about the community. And in the new economy, and this goes to some of the students back there, in the gig economy, looking for your next job is a good way to do it is with people you know. So if you follow the logic, the more people you know, the more chances you have of maybe getting your next job or your next customer. So networking is very important, and we continue to push and focus on that. Tim talked about our Emerging Enterprise Center. It's a program that not only runs the incubator, but also takes care of our small business education programs. This year we have 51 workshops scheduled focusing on a whole range of different programs and focusing on how to help your business grow in the near term. The incubator program that we talk about a lot is different than a lot of the words you hear when people talk about incubators. It's not just a physical building. It is a place, it is a program, it is an atmosphere. We lease out space at a reduced rate. We provide a lot of support services. We have a full-time program manager and a set of mentors who work with these businesses. How are we doing? Well, here's some statistics. Since we started the program, we've worked with 32 companies in a whole range of different business ideas, and we've helped them create 157 full-time jobs. And we know this is because part of the deal when you come to the incubator, we track your performance in terms of job creation, revenue, and other metrics. Last year, we had 12 companies with us. 9 were in residence at the incubator. And last year, they had 48 full-time employees and 22 part-time employees. And with all of that, they had a combined payroll of $4.6 million. The reason the incubator works because it focuses on what the business needs. They're doing their core business, whatever it is, and we provide the support services and access to the professional work group that they need to get better. The other reason the incubator works so well is because of our staff. And I'd like to recognize Frank DeSantis, our program manager, who's in the back. Stand up, Frank, give us a wave. And I see we have a couple of our graduates here with us tonight from the incubator program. So, I mean, it is a success story, and we're very proud of it. We look forward to expanding and being here in Wilmington and finding Wilmington businesses to get them to grow and create some jobs and some ratables and some wage tax, because I think in order for the city to go, more employees, more people in the city, and we're all about helping to make that happen. January, we launched a new website, something a lot more member-friendly, easier to register. It's going to help our members get more business. We have a lot of marketing opportunities on that. A lot of folks have traveled with the Chamber. Over the last 6 years, the Chamber has a pretty robust international travel program. We've gone to China 5 times. We've been to Thailand, Italy twice, Spain, Austria, and we've even traveled to Cuba. It's kind of funny, man. The Chamber is specializing in going to communist countries. I don't know what that's about. But we've learned a lot when we go. Cuba was absolutely fascinating when we were there. This summer, we're going to be offering our next trip to China. We already have 21 people signed up for that. And pretty soon, we're going to be announcing a special trip to Italy in the fall. The Chamber has also been on the forefront of health insurance through our Benefits Connection program, which is administered by Allen Insurance, and I think Brad Allen is here this evening with us. Thank you, Brad. Clearly, health insurance has been so tumultuous, it's hard to explain where it's going to go, and now with the concept of repeal, the impact on the state, the impact on the individual, impact on business, what's it all mean? The Chamber will be positioned to help provide assistance and information to our members when these changes come. And lastly, the Chamber is about the community. Of the 1,200 members we have, 85 of them are nonprofit organizations, be they museums, be they educational institutions, be they various charitable organizations. But last year in 2016, we rolled up our sleeves and we raised $5,000 for the Boys and Girls Club. Remember when over Christmas in 2015, some bad guys came and went to the Boys and Girls Club and stole the HVAC units off the roof? Crazy. So we had a raffle and we raised $5,000 to help them repair or replace those units. And yeah, that was good stuff. And this last fall, we had at our Women's Expo, probably one of the most amazing speeches I ever saw was a lady by the name of Liz Scott. Many of you do not know who that is. That is Alex's mom. from Alex's lemonade stand. Wow, what a story. And we had a little lemonade stand there, and we raised $4,500 to help in the research for children's cancer cure. So anyway, the Chamber means a lot of things, and we are very pleased that you are here this evening with us to help us move forward. All of those things happen for one reason, and one reason in particular. It's the members, but more importantly, it's the staff of the Newcastle County Chamber that really makes things go. We've got a group of people who I enjoy working with, and I think they enjoy working there. So I'd like to ask the staff in the back to stand and be recognized for a tremendous job. And a special shout out to Pamela Mays and Heather Fisher and Katie Buckley for putting a lot of this together tonight. So when you're in business, one of the things that's most important is having good employees, employees you can trust, employees you're going to know that are going to be there. We are very fortunate this year. We have celebrated 5 employees who have been with us for 10 years. And these are dedicated folks. And I just want to, again, recognize them. Katie Buckley, Barbara Weiss, Bob Chadwick, and Pamela Mays, and Terry O'Neill. How about that? A round of applause for some really hardworking, dedicated people who make my life very enjoyable, and we get to do great things like this this evening. Now I'd like to introduce our governor. I'm going to go back in history again. 95 years ago, John, the population of the entire state was only 225,000. And if you remember, half of them lived in Wilmington. So this was a very rural place here in Delaware, and it certainly has changed a lot since then. At that time, William Denny was the governor of the state, and it was fascinating. You know what his top concerns were? Establishing a highway construction program and developing a system to improve funding for public schools. I guess some things don't change, 95 years. But we're fortunate here in Delaware to have someone of John's capability who understands the community, has served at various levels of government. So it's my privilege to introduce a great friend of the Chamber and a champion for our state, Delaware's 74th Governor, John Carney.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Mark. How about another round of applause for Mark and the great work that he's doing with the Newcastle County Chamber. This is a long way from some of the photographs that were in that slideshow, Mark, from the days back in Newark. It's kind of like going back home. We got the blue and gold. We got the president of the University of Delaware. And importantly, we have the new football coach at the University of Delaware, Danny Rocco. Where's Danny? Stand up, Danny. Take a... Dr. Asanas, I think you got to go. If he could just turn the tables on what Richmond has been doing to us the last couple of years, he's going to be pretty good. I got all my digs in on him, by the way. If you want to get your plays all set, Danny's all ears. Our mayor said he wished that each of us could be mayor for a day or for a few hours. No, sorry, Mike. I get up in the morning, every morning, and I say to myself, thank God I'm not Mike Przicki. I got my problems. And we have our challenges as a state. We were led off in prayer by Rabbi Beals. I've served our state now for about 16 years as an elected official. And I got to tell you, we've had 2 events over the last 2 months that I've been your governor that have been more meaningful and I think more powerful than anything I've done in the 6 years that I've worked for all of you. We had an event at the mosque in Ogletown with the imam. We had several rabbis there, pastors, standing room only crowd, showing our support for the Muslim community in our state. And then yesterday, we had on a glorious day, we had the county executive, the mayor, congressional delegation, lots of community leaders to show love for the Jewish community here in our state. And I'll tell you, it made me so proud to be your governor and to be a Delawarean. We are really, really lucky when you think about it. Our former governor used to like to talk about our state as a state of neighbors. And he was right in so many ways. We all, Coach, we all know each other. We're going to be knocking on your doors when you win or lose. That's the way it works here. But you know, we have an opportunity to do things in a better way. We have great leaders like General Vavala. This guy is unbelievable. 50 years of dedicated service to our state. 50 years. Selfless leader, never asked any of his men or women to do something that he wouldn't do himself, always trying to do the right thing. 20 years, almost 20 years as the Adjutant General, longest serving Adjutant General in the country. 3-star general, with an asterisk, I guess, General, right? With an asterisk. We are so indebted to your service. I didn't think, when I was elected, I went to talk to General Vavala about staying on to lead our National Guard, and he said, no, Jane says I got to come home, it's time to leave. And he had this technical thing about the required retirement age of the federal government for military service, minor detail. And I didn't think, I figured, I don't know if I could find another Italian-American that could pick up your shield like that. We've had so many who have led so wonderfully here in the National Guard. But I don't know if you know where General Timmons, how many have met General Timmons? She is extraordinary. Stand up, General Timmons. She's an extraordinary leader and is going to be great. Let me just make one quick point. I've been spending my days trying to put together a budget to close a now close to $400 million deficit, and it's not a lot of fun. And get your smiles into me tonight, because by the end of the week, you're not going to like much about what we're doing. But I'm convinced that it's going to be the right thing for our state to put ourselves on a pathway to be as competitive as we possibly can. I don't know how many people have been watching the NCAA basketball tournament. I'm a big fan. But there's incredible competition and parity across the country in that tournament. Anybody can beat anybody, and we've seen it happen. And on the economic side, we're competing against states across our nation, and we have to be better than ever. And it's certainly going to be an economy that's more about small business, which is what this chamber has always been about, Mark, the Small Business Chamber of Commerce. And it's going to be more about what our flagship university does here in our state than at any other time in our history. So tonight, as we're gathered and as you support the Newcastle County Chamber, I think it's more important than ever. And we're going to hear in a minute from a guy who thinks going to do a tremendous job, is doing a tremendous job, leading our flagship university in a time where it's going to be more important than ever. Because those kids sitting in that back table and their ideas, their innovations, and their entrepreneurial spirit are going to what drives our economy into the future. I look forward to working with everyone in this room and the chamber to put our state on that course into a very, very good future. Thank you. God bless. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Governor Carney, for those remarks and for your leadership as we move forward into the future. Now I'd like to kind of just shift gears a little bit and move to an award presentation. The Chamber infrequently gives out a Lifetime Achievement Award. We seek out a person who has to meet certain criteria, and there's basically three. We're looking for someone who's demonstrated an ongoing commitment to our community, has supported the activities of the Chamber, and someone who has made a significant contribution towards the betterment of our state. It is clear that General Vavala has done this on all three counts, and it's important to note that the Lifetime Achievement Award is something that's just not given, it's earned. It's earned through a lifetime of work, dedication, and passion and commitment. I had an opportunity a number of years back, I think it may have been 2010 or so, I accompanied the general down to something at that time was called Business and Industry Days. And we flew down to McGee-Tyson Air Base in Tennessee. And the idea was to give business leaders an opportunity to see firsthand what Guard training would be like and life in the Guard would be like. It was a great experience for me. I gained a much deeper appreciation of what the National Guard is to each community and as part of our defense structure on a national level. The other thing that became clear to me when we got down to Tennessee and we landed was I kind of observed things. I observed the other generals, the other adjutant generals around the country and their interaction with General Vavala. And I also watched over the years his interaction with his people that were under his command. And it was clear that the general has developed a great deal of respect from the people he's worked with, either in a command position or as a friend. We've got to know the general a little bit better over the last few years with something that's called the Joint Military Affairs Committee. And the idea behind this is pretty simple. We've got a lot of employers in the room, and a lot of us employ folks who are either veterans or currently serving in the Guard. And given the way that our military has been structured these days and deployed, we see a lot of members are away. And it puts a hardship on our companies. It also puts a hardship on the families. So what the Joint Military Affairs Committee is trying to do is to lessen that burden, to be more aware of how we can help those families. And it was the general who really kind of led the charge to move that forward and develop that strong relationship with the business community. Because here the Guard does so much when there is a time of disaster or challenge. And we are fortunate and have been fortunate to have had a leader such as General Vavala for a number of years. So at this time, I'd like to ask General Vavala to come up and receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Newcastle County Chamber.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mark. Rabbi, I'm with you. I was wondering what graphic, okay. That's a good graphic. I thought we might see a picture of George C. Scott or something like that. Rabbi, I'm a Catholic, but you are my rabbi, all right? I have the utmost respect and admiration for you, and no one offers a better prayer than you do. Happy 95th anniversary to the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to make an initial statement. This is long overdue. You know, our whole world changed after 9/11, and our National Guard changed. Your hometown force, our hometown force, the men and women who live and work in our local communities, deployed throughout the world. And I'd just like to thank all of you in the business community for your sustained support of the men and women of your hometown force. You truly are the wind beneath our wings, and we couldn't do it without all of you. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all of them, past, present. Thank you so much, because again, these deployments take a toll on families and certainly on employers. So without your sustained support, we couldn't do it. Thank you. Well, you honor me far more than I deserve. As a native Delawarean and lifelong resident of Newcastle County, I am completely humbled and honored that you would think me worthy of this most prestigious recognition from the preeminent organization representing the business community here in my home state of Delaware. My father, who was the first generation of Vavalas to be born in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and the first the first member of the family to graduate from college, would have been so proud and felt that we had truly been assimilated into the mainstream America. I'm elated to have his grandchildren and my children, Ann and Nick, here with me tonight. Thank you. Mark, I know you say it's a lifetime achievement for me, but I gratefully accept this, not for me, because it was never about me, but on behalf of the men and women of your Delaware National Guard. I was just blessed to be their point man, their front man, and I stood on their shoulders. My greatest privilege in life was to serve with them. In fact, I ask you to join me in recognizing one of the true champions of our Delaware National Guard, the former Director of Intergovernment Affairs, Mr. John DiLaterio, sitting right there. John, as well as thousands of others, advanced the brand, making our Delaware National Guard the entity that you're all recognizing tonight. And speaking about advancing the brand, there's no one better than our Community Outreach Coordinator, someone that all of you know and love, Miss Christine Kubik. Thank you, Christine. The work you do with the Chamber, the business community, and throughout Delaware is immeasurable. I also ask that you allow me the privilege, Governor already did, of introducing a far better leader than me, and who's the much prettier face of the Delaware National Guard, Major General Carol Timmons. I assure you that she will take us to heights that we never imagined and reach plateaus that I could only dream about. That's the kind of empowered and visionary leader Carol Timmons is, and you'll find it out as you continue to interact with her on a regular basis. You know, because, and Carol knows this as well as I, we found that it's all about, and this is something that we didn't do a good job of prior to 9/11, conveying our powerful message to you. And you're really our constituents. And that's that Delaware National Guard enduring brand. That's men and women who live and work in the local community that at the sound of the cannon fire rush towards it, not away from it. But it's all about communicating that, and you've embraced it, and you have helped us sustain. May you all be blessed 1,000-fold for bestowing this most cherished honor on me, but I am the humble representative of the Delaware National Guard. So again, on their behalf, I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving this old soldier the privilege of feeling good about his service on our behalf. May God bless all of you, the great state of Delaware, and our United States of America. Again, my heartfelt thank you. Thank you, my friend. This just means the world to me because it came from my home state. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Boy, General, don't. I ran into the General a couple times out dining, so I thought one other thing to go with that is, how about a gift certificate for you and your wife to go to Harry's?
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Certainly will. Well, thank you, General Vavala, for those words and for absolutely remarkable 50-year career. We in Delaware were blessed to have you with us. Now we have two parts. We're going to kind of move forward in the evening, the main event, where we're going to have the University of Delaware president. And then I think if we can, I'm going to ask our senior senator for some closing comments when we get done. The next part, we've talked a lot about the university today. A lot of us saw UD here this afternoon. We've got the new football coach here with us. At your table, you've got a little pamphlet about the university. And a lot of you know today was the first day of spring, and as a business, Rita's Water Ice has a clever marketing idea. The first day of spring, they give out free water ice. Well, for those of you who didn't get the free water ice, I got something better for you. At your table, in your napkin, was a coupon for a free scoop of, I might say, the best ice cream in the first state from the UD Creamery. Soon to be located in downtown Wilmington on Market Street and at the location down in Newark. So now I'd like to, we're going to have a little change of stage up here, but first as I get ready, we're going to see a video, then we're going to swap out the change of stage, but a little background on Dr. Dennis Asanas. He took office in June of 2016, but was not inaugurated until December 7th of 2016, which is very fitting, because as many of you may not know, that is Delaware Day, and that is the day he became our 28th president. You saw on some of the slides we've had the good occasion to have a UD president with us as a speaker, and also at our inaugural or inception of our meeting. Dr. Asanas will continue that tradition tonight as our speaker here, and we look forward to partnering with the university on many things. Dr. Asanas was born in Athens, Greece. As you heard, he got his first degree from the University of Newcastle and has 3 master's degree from MIT and a PhD from MIT. He is one smart dude. And we are very pleased to have him at the helm. And he brings with him a great deal of academic experience, not only on the teaching side, but the administrative side, having been the provost at Stony Brook University and the vice president for the Brookhaven National Laboratories. He previously taught at the University of Michigan and the University of Illinois. Dr. Asanas and his wife Eleni and they have 2 adult sons, and one is here tonight. Nick, I think, came down from New York to be with Dad as he made his presentation tonight. So we're going to run a short video, and then we're going to have a swap out of the stage, and then we're going to have a little bit different. We're going to have what I call a fireside chat, and Dr. Asanas will be interviewed by, have a conversation, let's put it that way, with a lot of us who know Kathy Rossi from Mid-Atlantic AAA. So let's roll the video and do a little swap out of the stage.
Before we sit down, I'd like to ask those of you who graduated from the University of Delaware, please stand. Those of you remain standing. Those of you who attended a class at the University of Delaware, any part of your education, please stand. Those of you who have a child or a family member attending the University of Delaware or work at UD, please stand. Those with any connection to the University of Delaware, please stand. The rest of the room. Thank you. You can see, President Asanas, all of us have a vested interest in the future of this university.
I can see this.
It's good to be with you.
Very nice to be with you. And very nice to be with all of you tonight. Thank you, Mark. Let's give another round of applause to Mark Kleinschmidt for the amazing work he's doing. And thank you, Governor Carney, for the great job you're doing in our state. And thank you, Mayor Przicki. And thanks to everybody else. Thank you, Senator Carper, for coming. You look much better live than in your video.
Okay, full disclosure, I did not meet President Asanas until this evening. So in preparation for this interview, I did what any good former journalist does, and I Googled you, right?
Oh.
Our hometown newspaper kindly quoted students, administrators, faculty, lots of folks at Stony Brook University saying that we are very lucky to have you here. So this is a state, as you probably have started to realize, appreciates those of goodwill and good works, and you're one of them. Your reputation is that. We welcome you. And before we talk about the university, I'd like to talk a little about you, okay?
Okay.
So, President Asanas, you are an academic scholar, scientist, admired engineer, author, and accomplished leader. 5 diplomas, 4 advanced degrees, as Mark said, from MIT. I understand you are the first in your family to graduate from college. So how did you manage that, let alone obtain the formidable degrees?
It's a great question. So let me just say, with a lot of hard work, that's for sure, but there are a lot of people behind these accomplishments. And I like to give, first of all, a lot of credit to my father and my mother. My father and mother didn't graduate from university. And sometimes the thing that you don't have is what you really want your children to have. And I have to say that they were both the dreamers, and they have fully enabled my dreams and my aspirations in life. My father actually, right after World War II, he was of age to go to university. He started in the university. He started studying to be a lawyer for 2 years. And then unfortunately for Greece, we had civil war right after World War II. So then he was drafted in the military for 3 years. That was the end of his education. After that, he had to take care of his family, and he had to work. And that kind of put him into his career as a merchant marine captain and ultimately into shipping, which influenced my family in many ways. My mother, she provided the unconditional love and support. She's been a great mom. It's too bad that it's too late now. She's in Greece 7 hours. Otherwise I would have told her, Mom, you should do Facebook and check in or FaceTime. But I also would love to give all the credit in the world to my wife, Eleni. Eleni, could you please stand up so you can be recognized? Talked about the 4 degrees at MIT. Eleni was there for all 4 of them. And so if my parents were about enablement, my wife has been about empowerment. It's all the power and propulsion behind me. And we have a great, great partnership in our life and a fantastic joint venture, which is our 2...
That's the best kind.
Yes, our 2 children.
And your son, one of your sons.
And one, and Nick, could you please also stand up?
So our roots influence all of us where we came from. Your family, your Greek heritage, you're from Athens. What influence has your Greek heritage had on your path forward, your life?
Kathy, that's a great question. Tremendous. That's the short answer. Raised in Greece, you feel the ambience and the weight of your heritage in terms of your culture, in terms of your upbringing in the arts and the humanities and the classical studies and philosophy and the way of thinking. And I believe that has had a real mark in my thinking. A much more of what I would call a Renaissance engineer than an engineer, and much more of a classicist than a modern guy in the way I feel about people. So Greece is a wonderful country with a tremendous resemblance to Delaware. It's small, so because it's small, you know everybody. That's not different than Delaware, so we felt at home from day one. And everybody knows everybody else, just like here. You've gone to the same school, or you belong to the same church, or you play soccer together, or you do something together. Perhaps you've dated somebody, or you're married ultimately to one of them, right? But the best part about Greece is it's surrounded by the sea, and the sea gives you the sense of the limitless potential. I remember as a young child being on voyages with my father on these ocean-going vessels, and I would always enjoy dreaming and seeing, the infinite potential, and that has really shaped my vision, for the world in so many ways. And the other part of it is feeling good about people and interacting with different cultures and being international.
So would you say that it was your father that was one of your greatest influences, or who, in addition to him, has influenced you the most along your way?
So I have to say, at different times in my life, he has been my father in my vision and aspiration for the future and my passion for education. My wife, in terms of feeling that we can accomplish together anything. And our children, in terms of sustaining this zest for changing the world, and seeing the impact on the new generation. So it's not just one person. I think it is intergenerational.
We all have qualities and attributes and passions that make us unique. So what would you say are two qualities about you, and what's your passion?
All right. Let's see. If I could maybe spin it a little differently, okay. My three qualities, I believe, are very similar to the same three qualities that Senator Carper and I have talked about many times. So the first one is always do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing to do. The second one is treat others the way you like to be treated. And the third one is never give up. So my respect of people and my persistence, Mr. Senator, and that's identical to your values, is really what I believe in life.
And your passion?
My passion is, I really feel that through the power of education and the cross-disciplinary connections that it empowers, we can change the world. And I've always enjoyed putting bright minds together to change the world. That's my passion.
Okay. Unknown quality, I understand that you're a good chef.
So I feel that Eleni was married to me because I was a great chef. I was. So, and she can correct me, but when we're both studying in Cambridge, I shared an apartment with her brother. She was not living with us, and I think she made it through university only because I was cooking. So, so that was a catalyst.
Good food brings people together, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, I listened to your inauguration speech, and you made it very clear in your remarks that, and subsequent to that, that you're interested in strategic partnerships, in diversity, inclusion, in excellence, innovation, entrepreneurship, and a student's more holistic understanding of the world. And as a research university, developing real-world solutions to real-world problems. So you've identified 5 strategic priorities, and I'd like to touch on each one of those with you. All of them are important, of course, but let's start with the first priority, which is student success. That's number 1 for you?
It's absolutely number one, and for all of us, not just for me, for all my partners, the faculty of our great university, all 1,200 of them, and the members of my senior staff who are there tonight. We are working together to make sure that our students are successful as thought leaders, as people who can change the world, as change agents for our society. We want to see our students possess the right kinds of skills. They come with a lot of creativity and imagination, but we want to hone it, and we wanted to put it to the service of the world. And so I like to see our students graduate in 4 years in greater numbers. Today we have about 72% of our students who graduate in 4 years. I like that number to go to 80 and 90%, and we can do it. And you should know that more than 90% of our Delawareans actually, one way or another, they get through the university, they graduate from the university, which is unbelievable. And our university has great value, but we like to make sure that our students graduate with the right kinds of leadership skills and skills to continue to learn through life, even after they graduate in the university.
I know you're uniquely appreciative of education and that you have some quiet good works that have taken place, most of which probably students are the only ones who know about them. But your son told me that a student thanked him for something that you did recently for him, and when he asked what it was, he said that you allowed a student to sleep in a classroom to help that student make it through. So you wanted him very much to make it, obviously.
Well, he has shared with you one story. I'll tell you another story. And that was when I was at Michigan. I saw a student from India who was coming to my class through the winter. And we're talking about winter. That's not Delaware winter. That's real winter, you know, with like a few feet of snow. And he was coming without socks and in sandals, and with the same clothes every day. And that perked my curiosity. And, you know, I saw that, you know, he wasn't eating very well. And so I asked him, where do you eat? And he said, well, I wait for the student cafeteria, and when they're done at 12 o'clock midnight, I go and eat the leftovers that they throw away. Then I said, where do you sleep? And he said, well, you know, I sleep in the buildings. I said, we're going to change it. So, you know, I helped him go through. We helped him, and he's doing great now. He has a career in the country. He has a life. He is, you can say, one of those undocumented students. We came in at some point without anything, with just hope. And now he has a brighter tomorrow. And, you know, that's what we're all about. And I'll give you one more. One of our students, that was at Illinois, my first school. He got into trouble. So a police officer came to me just after a weekend. I think it was St. Pat's Day, and said, your student is going to be detained in jail, you know, because he had a few too many drinks. I said, oh, I'm very sorry for it, but he has his exam in 2 days. That's my midterm. You know, there's no way he won't take my midterm. And then, you know, they said, well, you don't understand. No, I said, I totally understand, but, you know, hey, he's in prison. I'll give him his book so he can study. And then the officer said, well, we can't have any book in prison because that's hardcover material. And, you know, that can be used as a weapon. So I take my book right in front of him. I managed to tear apart, you know, the two covers. I said, here's the book, officer. Make sure he takes it and that he shows up Wednesday morning. He did. He did well. He thanked me afterwards. So.
Very good. Very good. Next priority. My former boss, Governor Jack Markell, talked a lot, focused a lot, and our current governor, Carney, and lawmakers, and really everyone in this business community is very focused on this and very much wishes innovation and entrepreneurship.
So innovation and entrepreneurship is what is going to save our state, Governor. And you and I share the same passion. It's interesting, one of the students in our student newspaper, The Review, he wrote an article recently with the interesting title, Dissecting Dennis. So he probably has no other homework to do. So he read the inauguration speech, and he said, I counted in the inauguration speech, the new president used the word innovation 18 times. Now, I wasn't doing the counting, but the bottom line is it is crucially important to our state and to the world to innovate our way into the future. That's the only way we can conquer the future, I say sometimes. And so the traditional big players in our state aren't as big anymore, and that actually applies to many other states. You know, we lived in Detroit at the peak of the crisis of the automotive industry, so you know, we follow us wherever we go, whichever state. You know, that state is in trouble or was just in trouble, but we turn it around. And that's the main thing. We never give up.
The Shining Star Crowning Glory, the Star Campus. Update us on what's next, very briefly.
So the Star Campus is an unbelievable opportunity. It's a field of dreams. It's the blank canvas to build the university of the future. It's where Delaware meets the world and where the world meets Delaware. It's not just about real estate. Those of you who are developers here, I know a lot of you are, you're in a good future. You're not in any kind of competition. We'd like to partner with you. What we like to do is bring to the Star Campus all the kinds of activities that would naturally partner with the university. So we enable opportunities for our students through education, entrepreneurship, internships, everything, startup businesses. So what's next? For about 7, 8 years, we've been thinking about it, but now we're igniting. Oftentimes it's like, you know, learning to dance the Greek dance sirtaki. You know, it's very, very slow at the beginning, and then it takes off. So, you know, that's exactly what's happening right now. It's about to take off. We're about to build 3 more buildings. And I saw earlier here tonight, Ernie Deladon. So, you know, not sure where Ernie is, but, you know, obviously, you know, his first project with us, the Star Health. And now we're about to break ground on a 10-story Star Tower. And the university will be in at least 5 floors there. So our dean, Kathy Matt, is right there. Kathy. So we have a great vision about this tower. You know, we want to bring together, again, education and patient care and entrepreneurship and community all together. So we are going to have there great programs in kinesiology and speech and language disorders and nursing. And of course, our fantastic physical therapy, the world's best, and many, many others in the health science, to work with engineers and with artists and with